Going to talk about professional RECMIN. RECMIN Profession might be. RECMIN Free has 4 modules. Both are completely compatible, except some parts of the database. It is advised to work with both. Once you can synchronize between them, the database, the Pro is free. Installation too, but with that option you can only open projects. But to be able to edit, open databases directly and to be able to export, you need to obtain a license to use it. The main novelty is that there is. Have the projects are advised, it is not mandatory, referenced know where to place each project that we put at the base with a new project of work. We can say in what UTM zone it is, in what hemisphere it is, and approximate UTM coordinates near the project. Okay. Any, but this one will do relatively in the area. Not work can be synchronized as we see with databases or projects that let's have the free at the moment. We do it by adding here to the edit deposits. Then from the moment the base of data will be synchronized with both. With the free and with the Pro, we can work in both of them in the polling part. Have other things we'll talk about later in other videos. Then when we are in the Pro, we have to tell him with what project we are going to work. And well, some things that I can show you for that you see the capabilities of RECMIN Pro is always working in 3D. Everything is 3D. There is nothing that is just one projection or that you're working on. 2D is in RECMIN Free. It also can triangular as you did also with the free, but here the triangulation is pretty faster. You can triangulate by the Delano method, which is the more common, but there is also that grids that also has RECMIN Free, and that is advised when we have large surfaces for that does not occupy much space and does not exist so many triangles and get a view acceptable to be able to see in 3D. Then if we are going to use a texture, that would be maybe another of the novelties that be RECMIN Pro now. It would be adding any image reference to or the photo, then we can open it automatically and the program will place it in the corresponding site because it will come referenced and locate the texture. Or climbing surfaces is easy. As we can see, you select on the screen the option that project on a triangulation and what does immediately you can work with any drawing element like scales, translations, etc. In this case we have exaggerated the Z to a surface and we have returned it to triangular. In that way we see, exaggeratedly, the same thing we can do in a work civil. Where are the areas of more pending or less pending? Okay. We can project and reproject it in the topped part and we can see the same surface generating the height, right? 4. Have better aspect ratio. Okay. Then we see the back is much more simple and very powerful. We can return back any operation we do, regardless of the options. Bone visualization we may be changing and moving at the same time, and we can go back in pictures without being considered a back turn for the image of visualization. The VL2 is different. Back of actions on the objects. Okay. we're going to add, for example, soundings of one of my databases. The form of presentation, as you see, is very similar to the one we have in RECMIN free, but I think now we can handle more easily in the bar of tools for that object. Then you can climb that is more or less pronounced. Put more elements, we will see a little more detail later, okay? Also climb so much the geology is in the bars. Now let's add, for example, a block model, for example. In this area, you are already seeing how it looks and how it is added. As you see, it is all dynamic. They are added there on the drawing area. We color them as in RECMIN free, with the fields that we want, and here we can also space it more or less, since the blocks occupy all the space. But we can make them slightly separated, since that way it looks much better, the blocks, and even we can do it until we see a very tiny block in the center, and that allows us to visualize what is around, and visualize certain properties too. Let's now add a model, the model of this body that was a T3, which has been drawn with the RECMIN free. We add here in a very simple way. Remember that they are completely compatible. Open all the files you have in free, and you can generate new ones that also you could open them in the RECMIN free, which are the RMRX, that has a format, let's say standard type in XML, and maybe with many more options than the free. As we see, we can any object we have there, so we can change their properties. We can make transparent or not, like we did with the transparent body. We can make cuts or sections. For example, a section for a zone particular here. Then we will do it that simple, and we will be watching in 3D the part that we move it, we get closer. We can do that in other operations. Now they are much more simple, and is the potential that the RECMIN Pro not only at you have now, but for the amount of options that from now on we will go entering and adding, that they will do more powerful time, right? Looking like always those things that are useful, and make it simple and make it easy to use, and that many things can be done. Here we are opening, for example, this that is a RECMIN project, which is huge and it has many bodies. We have opened a lot of lines that were worth make the models of the zones, mineralized, draw faults, etc. I'll leave a few to see how easy it can be to draw a body by selecting two lines and joining them. Can be closed, not closed. He will take care of joining them with the algorithm that has. And there is a help window too, that I will not show now in case of make it complicated to be able to even help to favor the union of certain points. This finite modeling option, we have it very advanced and can be done enough things. You can change easily reversing faces, like we saw there was a line upside down. As we change, and we change colors properties, we can gather them all in a single volume. But all how we see from a graphic form, we can move any object from one side to another and turn it to the original side, or we can simply move it partially to see how it is. When we have a lot of information left, the selection as we see between a lot of information on the screen, relatively simple. You select things in 3D, I have the option to activate, select and move at the same time. Sometimes it's complex to use it, but good having practice, and it is very powerful, because it allows you to move, rotate and select in a very simple way, without having to go to the switch button between one thing and another. Well then, let's remove back. In everything we did, and we are going to open all the bodies that are part of them, because this is very big. And it has many T3 models. Let's open a few for you to see. Once join the lines of some of these would be like this. The option to change the color or to search the best relationship in a window where we can set some lights, not what. Let's do now, not to do. I extend the video, since the objective is to see, in a way, how fast is the potential. RECMIN Pro. Let's, for example, to triangulate the surface, we triangulate it. Let's do what same as we did before, that is the most normal. Once this is done, it can be saved. Now pretty fast we'll see a orthophoto of the area, in this case a selfie where we have attached a orthophoto made with a drone of detail of the movement of like that. It's done almost every month and united with the areas that we have of official orthophoto downloads. Okay. It's like that we are having more details of these areas in which we are working, and as you see, can see with a pretty acceptable detail. And also with a very fast movement. Because there is a lot of information there, let's remove the lines page or put them not visible, and we will move a block so you can see how easy it is to move something what is hidden. Behind other objects and all that. As you can see, it is easily automatic. The degree of detail you see is good. It has a fleet control module that you must have seen in another video that we put in little, where you can see the trucks online moving. Thanks to wait and have information of the changes through tablets, etc., etc. Let's now add surveys in the area. For example, these are probes of a short one of the bodies. Let's also take away the proportion to the size of the bar so that it is not very large. The pills, active the transparency of the body so that let's see what's inside. As we see, you can see with a lot detail everything they are. Jobs and things like models. And the probes, and do the same for underground. What we are doing is filling in blocks of one size. Determine then one of the models of the volumes that we have of this is the body of this one in particular. And as it does dynamically, that is, we can be working on other things and moving to the time he keeps filling. That is, you do not need to stay running just the task. I'm going to move around so you can see like what he did. Okay. How are the blocks filled in this case? I'm going to separate them a little so that look good in 3D. I will change the color, so what I did. They are transparent there, the blocks that they filled. We moved it aside so you can see how it was. Then this block model, you can use it for other things. What I have not commented on the poles. Well, the probes can be seen in the form of bars, 3D paths, and you can see up to 4 elements at a time, like in this case. I have 4 elements and each one form a quadrant filled with a color and size according to a law that they have. It might seem cumbersome to see it, but they can change the proportions and have a legend or different color range for each element, as is logical, and a way too easy. It changes. For example, the proportion of lithologies as make them bigger, more small the bars that frame the lithology, and we can go removing elements. Now we see that there are 3. Now there are 2 that would occupy half a disk A element and half disk the other, or leave 1. We would see how it is more normal to see 1. Let's see now another powerful option that has the professional RECMIN and is referring to export to save 3D PDF files from any work that we have. We open it or we generate it, and we can have, or we have the option rather of export to PDF 3D. When exporting it in PDF 3D from the work that we have, what we can send to any person, and simply with the Acrobat reader that is free, as you know, and they have it. Basically almost all computers or others readers that allow it. We can show our work without you. The person who sent it to you has to install anything in special and does the work that he had before, or has a 3D visualizer that we have. The goal was to be able to send I work for someone, but I should have the 3D viewer. Now with the 3D PDF there, you have to install anything. Here we have saved one and we have opened it with the Acrobat reader, and as we see, it looks very good. You can zoom in and more things. Here right now I am going to teach you how to update the topography of the mine of your project with mining software RECMIN. Simple and easy way, if in case you have or are you driving a mine topography project and not have a budget to acquire a commercial software license, because with RECMIN you can do it without problems. How are you seeing right now? Have 2 topography surface layers. You have an initial topography, and you have another topography of broken ground as you are seeing it here. And what we need to do is Merge those two topographies. Or update the topography to not have to do a survey at all. This area or this whole area, that's very easy. It's very simple. Simply you are work of the button to draw lines or polygons, okay. And we are going to carry a line roughly on the edge of the topography of the broken terrain. It has to be to the limit. It does not have to be outside, but inside it can be a square, can be a polygon, what you want, not. There's a problem here. The idea is that this line go to the edge of this one topography of the broken ground, okay. And when you finish here you order him to draw as a line. Here you do not need a coordinate in particular, nothing. Simply you give accept and here in gradient you agree, and you can put a name. Select the one you want. For example, update line. I will write it right now in Spanish language. Right, redraw, and then there you have the line. And with this button we will not change color, so you can visualize it. For example, red color, and let's redraw, and then there you have the update line. Then what you are going to do next is go to layers of surfaces and let's disable one of the layers. For example, let's deactivate the topography of the pit or of the broken ground. And what we are going to do, it's a cut to this inner part of the polygon to leave a kind of gap or empty there to put the new topography. And that's very easy. You go to toolbar of the lines, and on this button that says Edit Lines, click here and you realize that the vertices are activated of this polygon. Remember that it has to be a polygon, is to say a closed line. Click on any of the vertices and shows you a menu of screen, and you're going to use the option to trim active surfaces, okay. Here the program asks you which surface wants to cut, if the inside or the outside. Then you use option 2, which is the part which is inside the polygon. Click on Accept. Then in this message that says, if you want to add the line as outline, you're going to say no and wait. And the program is going to cut you to the surface. Then redraw, and there you have. Then you have a new layer that it would be the clipping of the initial topography. Then you will do the opposite. We'll activate the topography of the broken terrain. Let's activate it also. Let's do a cut here. Exactly in a limit to that polygon the edit button has to be activated, and click any of the greens, and you're going to use the same option. In this case, you are going to order me to take away what is outside the polygon, that is, these pieces of surfaces that are coming out of the polygon. So use option 1 and you accept, and here again you click where it says no, so it does not draw the line as outline, okay. Very good. There is redraw, and now if you already have a new layer of the cut. So we have two cuts of both the initial topography such as the terrain broken, and what we do is activate the two cuts, okay. And you forget the initial topographies. Click on redraw and we go to the button of lines and deactivate it. Is more, you can delete it to erase it. It's very easy. You just erase it with right click and tell him to delete, okay. Very good. Redraw, and there you have the new topography already almost updated. We can look at it in 3D. We click on the 3D button. Now what I would have to do, it's just joining those two surfaces to make it a single layer, and That's very easy. If you want, you can leave separate as you have it there right now, but here in RECMIN it's usually work by joining these two layers or these two surfaces. Down you have a button on the object button that says merge layers. Active, you will click and accept, and now you have only one topography. You can see that he joined in one. You can change color. I'm going to put you, for example, red color, then merge and there you have the new topographic surface. OK. And now it is already very easy. You can triangular, but before that, I always recommend saving as a new file. We will call it Final Topography, and now we're going to triangulate for it. We go to the Settling T3 menu, and here it is, the option that says Triangular Surfaces. Let's click on this option and we click on this other option, OK, and we click on Triangular. This delay depending on the size of the object. For example, here right now we have a topography from 1 kilometer to 800 meters approximately, and also depends on the quantity of vertices that have the surface. OK. And this, how you see, is already triangulated. We can look at it in 3D now to see how it was. If you have there now a set of triangles, a file of triangles, that you can see it completely in 3D. OK. Here we can turn off now the surface to see how the T3 is. OK. Very good. Then of that way the topography of the mine is updated, and so you can keep updating weekly, daily way according to as the ground is broken or as it deepens, and you can go update and update the topography and saving the results by dates. All right. That what I wanted to teach you here with RECMIN. There are many things, more details, like, for example, calculate the area of all this, volume, make cuts, etc. But that's already teaches in an advanced course, which this is exactly what my work is, and I get some. Well, if you want to know more information, you can enter the RECMIN page, www.recmin.com, and if you want to download the software, remembers that the download and installation is free. You can go here. Download also updates, helps, beta versions, everything you want. You also have a business option. You have control of fleets, reports manager, etc. This from the control of fleets is very good. Would be ideal that you try it in your mine, but it is a commercial application. You could request shows so you can see its operation in the mine. You have more images or more information about the fleet control APK. OK. Then here you also have information about courses. Here you have a free course. You can